All right. What do you guys got? Jeff's good. Yeah, Jeff's had a good week of practice. Moved around well, threw the ball really well. So, coming off an injury like that, I can't say that he's, maybe 100%, but he doesn't look, you don't notice that there's anything wrong with him as he plays.
What Ty Robinson was saying in his press earlier this week, I mean, obviously he's sad for Rahmir and Gabe and Dwight, but it kind of put into perspective for the team that you're not guaranteed to play. Is that a message you guys have kind of shared even before the injuries maybe?
Yeah, I think when I addressed the team about, specifically about Rahmir, I think probably for the first time in my career, I got probably a little emotional in front of the group. I just thought, I don't know if he'll ever play again. And it's like, you can't tolerate other people taking things for granted. When I know, and Rahmir's having surgery today, and Gabe's having surgery today. Gabe had surgery yesterday, successful. Rahmir and Boodle are having surgery today. So I talked to both those guys this morning via text. And, if he's going to go out there and go through that surgery, hoping that he can play football again, then we're not going to tolerate as an organization, coaches, players, staff, anybody, feeling sad about the schedule or their situation. It's an absolute blessing to be here. We're fortunate to be here. And so I think that's the message, that no one's promised anything. So let's make the most of today, take advantage of today.
With your running backs, Anthony, Emmett, Quinn, what was their week of practice like?
That's been a lot of work. EJ's been working overtime. Anthony, and Emmett obviously have been in it for a while. Quentin's been, he's in the meetings, but he's been on the scout team, reading cards. So he's got some work to do to catch up. We anticipate Louisiana Tech being a high blitz team. They're a high third down pressure team. So obviously we have a running quarterback, so you can do some things in the run game, even on third down, to offset pressures. But at some point you're going to have to stand in there and pick up blitzes and exotic pressures. They have a great blitz package. So it's been overtime work on that. So there's a lot of things that we know we're doing, but they've had a good week, and whoever's ready to go, there's a standard to play to. I expect them to play to that standard.
What is the learning curve for a freshman like Quentin? What things does a guy like him have to get down to be ready to play?
Well, in an offense like ours, a lot. Some offenses, have like one or two run schemes. We've kind of taken the approach that even if the learning curve is a little bit greater, in the long run we'll be better off, being multiple. So, it's hard to, you have to come in, you have to learn multiple tracks. You have to be able to run every run from the eye, from under center, from the gun, from pistol. But mainly it's protections, right? We're not like a simple protection team. We're a little more, not exotic, but a little more developed, maybe. And so they have to handle a lot of things. So I say the protections is probably the biggest jump. Certainly it's the biggest jump for a college running back to the pros, and so for our guys from high school to college, that's the biggest probably jump.
Have you seen it really hit home with the younger guys on the roster? You've said all along it's a long season. At some point we can call on everybody, or we'll need to, but has that especially hit home in the last week or so with some guys?
I don't know. You probably have to ask them. I think, because I've always felt like our guys' work ethic is really, really pretty good, and I think they've understood, especially now with the rule of playing 4 games and still maintaining your red shirt. A lot of our guys have been prepared. Some guys like Sua, Lefotu, we think is going to be an unbelievable young talent. So we took him to Colorado, played him some plays. Last week he went back. He was back on the trade team, didn't play last week. So you see guys, as you pick and choose spots where you need some depth and putting guys out there. Some guys, like they're meeting. We have some freshmen that are meeting with Coach Foley, hoping that in the last 4 games of the year they get a chance to play a little bit. So I think all of our guys have been working hard, but the message is certainly out there. Guys are going to get hurt. It's got to be the next man up. And the most important thing I think people need to hear is that the standard doesn't change. We don't say like, well, he hasn't really played a lot, or hey, Heinrich was taking the 2 reps. Those are things, those are weak things that we don't say those things. There's a standard. We have to play to it.
Does this game provide an opportunity to improve or figure some things out in a way that a Big Ten game could?
Yeah, I won't let I would never speak that or think that. I reminded the team last night at practice, what would they do to go back and practice better the Wednesday before Georgia Southern. We've already let our game that we thought we could win, should have won, slip through our hands, right? So we've already had that game. So we have to play our best football game. Every week I challenge the team 2 things. Go 1-0 this week. Win the game. And number 2, to improve, right? So we had a lot of things that we did wrong last week that no one notices because we won. But we have to have the same urgency that we had after Colorado. When, hey, we lost because we're not doing X, Y, and Z right. Well, X, Y, and Z are still happening, or they might be different X, Y's, and Z's. So we have to improve every week, and this Louisiana Tech team can absolutely beat you. They're talented, they're dynamic, they're a much different offense than like the offense we faced last week. So Sonny knows how to score points. So they're going to come in, they're come after our defense, and our offense has to step up and play at a level that allows us to win.
Your quarterbacks, ideally, do you like the guy that you're going to go with to know by Thursday or at any point in the week? I know you practice hard on Friday. So how does that change that?
Yeah, I think every week's different. Obviously you'd love to know on Monday, right? But I'm also trying to prepare these guys for life and for NFL football. I mean, like, you want to play in the, Christian McCaffrey, who obviously I have a lot of experience with. He got traded on like a Wednesday or Thursday. He played that Sunday. Like, this is about figuring it out. So each week's different. We try to do our best for every guy. We had I had 1 week where P.J. Walker found out in warm-ups that he was starting. So whoever's playing has to go out and play. And I have no problem playing multiple guys. I have no problem, obviously having a established guy who's healthy is the ideal thing, but we'll address whatever happens as it happens.
What goes into your thought process this week and as who you decide who's going to start on Saturday?
Oh, it's so simple for me. It's nothing else other than who do I think gives us the best chance to win at every position. It's nothing about, who's established this, who's done this. It's just about, hey, as we think about what we've done, what we do, what we need to do this week, who gives us the best chance to win. So that's at left guard, left tackle, right tackle, defensive end, and then you get in the game. If that changes in the game, if your linebacker gets dinged up and the second linebacker gives you a better chance to win, you play him. So winning comes first. As I said, we want to be 1-0 this week, so there's nothing else other than that.
It kind of covers up some mistakes even made last week. What are some of those that stand out to you that you'd like to see corrected from last week?
I hate going back to last week. I think, I just think last week, going into last week, I had challenged them to be better on third down, both on offense and defense. I think we made that improvement. I challenged them to take the ball away on defense. And again, it's one thing that I'm not really results based. I'm like, I don't see us attacking the football and punching at the football and ripping at the football. And usually on defense, that's a matter of confidence. When you're trying to make sure you make the tackle because you're not sure if you're going to make the tackle, and really it's the second guy in. Like guys kind of jump on the pile to make sure they make the play. Once you start making plays, it's like, okay, let me take this to the next level. And so for me, the scheme, the effort, the standard, all the stuff I talk about, the toughness, that's what lets you play good defense, team defense. Take it to the next level. That's where players bring their own unique personality to it. They don't play outside the system. But within the system, they reach in, they punch a ball out. Quentin jumps up and catches a ball, and unfortunately his toe touched the line, but he makes that play. Javen makes that play. So I want to see the difference makers be difference makers within the system, not outside of the system. And the same thing on offense. You turn on offensive football, you turn on highlights, you turn on ESPN, College Football Live, you see guys jumping up, catching it with one hand. You got to do your job. You got to run the right route, full speed. You got to block, all those things. But, man, I want to see someone bounce off 3 tackles and go score a touchdown. So we're just trying to get our guys to bring their own unique spin to the X's and O's. Play to a standard, but then be you. And great players make great plays. We have a bunch of guys that I think can be great players, but it's not about their talent. It's about what they are on tape. So this film this week will tell us more about who our players are and what our standards are. And so it's an amazing opportunity versus a really good team.
Saturday's forecast calls for some inclement weather. Have you guys been preparing at all with wet footballs or anything like that? What types of things do you do to prepare for rain?
Yeah, Jay came up to me on Tuesday, and so we did it last night. We practice Wednesdays. We practice half on the fields out here, half in the stadium. We did some wet football stuff last night. Luckily for us, you guys know us, like we don't go inside in camp during the rain. So in training camp, we don't go inside in the spring. We don't use the indoor facility unless we absolutely have to. The doctor comes in and says it's too hot, you have to go in the indoor. Otherwise, we're outside because we play outside. So we've gotten lots of reps in the rain. Got lots of reps this week during a wet ball drill. And, the great thing about being at the University of Nebraska is, everyone's going to show up no matter what, And for me, I think about all the people coming and sitting in the stands. I think about your family and friends, my family and friends, everybody going out there. They can't come and have us bumble the ball around because it's wet. Like, there's a standard. We have to play in a way that's, as Coach Osborne would say, is pleasing to the fans. And, it was reminded me by a former player last night, George Kairos, there's a bunch of people all across the state that are working hard that can't come to the game. There's a bunch of farmers, sitting in their cabs working on fields that are going to be listening to that game. We have to play to a standard, and we have to show our gratitude and thanks. And so I'm thankful for all the people of the state and everything that they do. So we have to play well. So you can kind of hear in my voice, like I'm trying to make sure our guys understand, like there is no excuse for not playing Nebraska football. And so we hear a lot of excuses. We hear, when I said you can hear them if you want to, like, well, I'm a little banged up. We're a little banged up. We're a little tired. We've been through a lot. Who cares? This is what it means to be a Cornhusker. So this is an amazing opportunity. So I welcome the rain. I prepared all camp in the rain, saying, hey guys, when it rains, you better go out there and be like, hey, we do this all the time. So that's why we did mat drills in the snow. I hope it's a messy, ugly day because it gives us a chance to overcome, show what we can do.
You were optimistic about playing hard on Monday. Has that trended well?
Yeah, I don't know. Cam, Cam was obviously out there a little bit last night. He was out there today. He'll probably be a game time decision. He's such a tough player. Young players have to learn, how to, play when they don't feel great. At the same time, we also don't want them to hurt themselves even further. So, if he can go, he'll go though.
The same thing with Blaze Gunderson.
Yeah, Blaze is full go. Yeah, we expect Blaze practiced all week. Expect Blaze to play a lot of snaps this week. So, I say Cam's probably questionable, but Blaze should go the whole game. Thanks, guys.